Yeah.
Four different universities. Yeah, I'm not trying to add a five, but
Oh gosh, yeah. I did A
yeah.
levels and I did economics and psychology and maths. So
Mhm.
I did the condensed accelerated A levels. So I did that in 1 year. I do not recommend it. I do not
Mm.
recommend it. It was hell. Again, I do not recommend it.
I don't even think that's an option here, to be honest.
It's not here. So I did my A levels back in okay, so I'm from Malaysia. That's where I did it
Yeah,
from.
I was thinking that's not an option here. So yeah.
Yeah, we got that option and honestly it did well. My sisters did well. I didn't. So
Oh,
it's
fair
meant
enough.
for some people, it's not meant for some.
Mm.
And yeah, for me I just had like very few options where I come from, and yeah, that's what I did. So
Yeah.
back then we had AS and A2, so we had to do that all that in one. And yeah, I already mentioned the undergrad that I did, which was sport and exercise science.
Hmm.
Yep. 1 year with you, 2 years with Exeter.
Yeah, pretty much.
1 year with you, 2 years with Exeter. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun times.
So you didn't take a gap year, right? You went straight into the doctorate.
Yeah, I didn't take a gap year. I had like a gap 5 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
sometime you
Because
had a
like
break.
yeah, because like they had because I graduated in like uh July. So like
Mhm.
yeah, I had 5 months because we start in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have 5 months off.
Oh, fair enough. Well, at least you got a graduation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
mean they
mine
ran
was
the
the
graduation
final.
for me. It's just yeah. It's because I think that's cool. That's the one thing where like our paths changed at that point. Like we both left Ken, and then our paths went on different, you
Yeah,
know, journeys
yeah.
there. But yeah, so like, do you feel like your prior qualifications like were helpful in terms of whether that be your A levels or like the undergrad?
So A levels, so because I did psychology and maths, I think in some way that prepared me for undergrad because in some way maths does like stimulate some sort of a thinking pathway. I know I everyone will laugh at me because like I mean I don't hate maths, but I hated maths. But I preferred the like obviously secondary school maths, but like
Mm,
yeah, it does stimulate some critical thinking there and logical thinking. And psychology, yeah, because I didn't get to learn it in secondary school. I don't think anyone does, probably.
not
But like
really. Yeah.
yeah, not really. So I think it was just a good like open door to like learning about the biopsychosocial model.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you learn that as well in your master's program?
Yeah, I mean, not really in the masters. That was more covered in the undergrad. So like,
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
say for me, the psychology aspect of things, I didn't realize I was so interested in psychology until university, because that was kind
Yeah.
of like the first time I did a lot about it because I didn't do that in my BTech times. So
Yeah.
yeah, hearing about that, I was like, wow, this is interesting.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I actually did want to do psychology at first, sport, exercise science, and psychology, but yeah, sport science was just a route that I chose instead, and so for I found that's how that helped me with like undergrad and postgrad. Um, and sports science, doing sport and exercise science undergrad. Yeah, I found it quite helpful. Especially because we learned biomechanics
Hmm.
and I enjoyed biomechanics.
Yeah,
It
same.
included math. Yeah, I love that it included math. So I felt like, okay, that's like 40% done. I really enjoyed it. It was just like, it was a bonus for me because I really enjoyed it. And
Mm,
a bit of like, a bit of physics. I never did physics, but like, it was
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, and I felt incredibly smart. Just think like, yeah, doing that, jumping at that force produces like 10 newtons.
Yeah, that was me too. I talk
I know
about it
it's
to
probably
people, yeah. And people would be like, I don't know what you're on about. You're like, it's big stuff, big stuff. Like,
and then yeah, so that was biomechanics. You learn about human movement, and then anatomy and physiology. Like honestly, I think the best anatomy learning we ever did, what I think I ever did, was in Kent with our
yeah, with
lecturer.
functional anatomy, that was like the
Yeah,
best. Because I feel like after that, they don't really dive into it too much. Like, you
yeah,
taught it in first year, you should know it now. And it's like, but we haven't touched it at any other point throughout the degree apart from in first
yeah.
year. So
Yeah, and he was very even though, yeah, I know you mentioned this in your previous videos as well.
mm,
He went really fast and would be like,
really,
that's supposed to stop tour.
yeah,
Like
I'm like, oh,
I'm still
that,
stuck on like the third slide. Yeah,
yeah,
but it was, I think the way he that we were taught in Kent, it was very compartmentalized and very structured, well
mhm,
structured. So that was good, and that really prepared me to like I felt super like organized when I went into the course, because like I knew everything was segmented into like,
yeah,
yeah, it starts distally and then it goes like up more
hmm,
early, and I'm just like, yes, amazing, everything's done in tables as well, like the way
yeah,
we learned it. So that's how I think like that helped me. And also physiology, so we touched on cardiorespiratory, how the body
hmm,
reacts to exercise. But the thing is about the sports science degree is that it focuses more on sport and exercise. But then
yeah,
when you go into more of you don't just touch on people. So I think that's why most people who do physiotherapy go into MSK or like sport,
hmm,
because that's what they like. They know what they want. That's the population they want.
yeah,
But then when you're physio, you start learning that are actually different population groups, which is what I love about physio, is that you that's what I mean by it's so versatile as well.
hmm,
You've got so many different groups. You have the stroke group, you have cystic fibrosis, you have like you touch on so many different parts or areas of the body, and
yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, so that's what I did for undergrad. And the other one I did was rehabilitation science. So that one sort of prepared me as well.
hmm,
In so I did that in my final year. Found that quite interesting as well, because we touched on the ICF, international classifications of functions. Yeah,
hmm,
so that kind of like opened the door to it, and I was like, oh, okay, so bum 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 bum, impairments, activity limitations, participation restrictions, and yeah, I think that way it helped me prepare for like I didn't go into the course not knowing like not having too many surprises. And
yes,
this
hmm,
helped me prepare for it. Yeah, yeah, and oh, the another like previous experience was like working in so those 5 months that I had that break, I did 3 months of working at a hotel.
nice,
Yeah, I loved it actually. It was a great, it was stressful, but it was a great job because like so I was like a hotel front desk receptionist, and
hmm,
like you get to meet so many different people, and like for me
yeah,
I
you
like
do,
yeah, so like the people that you get, they're just because my hometown's is like a tourist hotspot as well,
hmm,
so you get so many different people coming in, and it really like trains your soft skills, your people skills. That's the difference between working for a hotel and a physio as a physiotherapist, because what I realized is that as a physiotherapist, you so when I was working in one of the wards, they they kind of keep pushing for their patients, even though their patients are like they're tired, they're not feeling well. But
hmm,
then I mean not feeling well, but like they just don't feel up for it. You know what I mean?
yeah, not
So
motivated,
there's a difference between like not feeling well and like feeling up for it. So they just didn't feel motivated to get out. So
hmm,
they're just like they just are just standing there like, nope, we're gonna get up now. And
yeah,
so I think that's the difference between being a hotel receptionist and a physiotherapist, that you get to actually like push them, and but obviously to their observe, observe, you know,
yeah, no, I
read.
completely get what you mean, yeah, so I get what you mean in that sense, but so you didn't work during your degree, right?
No, so for me, I found it a bit difficult to do
Yeah,
that. Wait, you mean like for undergrad or
for the doctorate.
for the doctorate? No, no, no. I found it difficult because when you have placements that come in randomly, it's a bit hard to get a job that like can allow you to take off 1 month and then like come back in. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to look for like a bank job where like I like they give me shifts and then I can
hmm,
just choose which one I want, because that's what I did in Exeter. Yeah, we could choose shifts and then like you don't have to be committed every week. Yeah, that
yeah,
kind of job.
fair enough. I think
But
that,
that's just
yeah,
yeah.
I think if my job wasn't as flexible, I probably wouldn't be able to keep it. You definitely need a job that's understanding of the fact that like you're going to be all over the place and you can't commit to something all the time. All you
Yeah,
can really do is communicate your availability, really, in that
yeah.
sense. But that kind of brings me on to like, do you feel you have time outside of university for yourself, like to be social, to do this and that? Because obviously, different types of courses, and yours sounds way more intense than mine. So,
Okay. Let me just break the ice there.
oh god,
So do I feel like I have time for life outside university? Well, basically, your program becomes your life. Is that sad to say? I'm
I
kidding.
would never conform.
Well, okay, so because for how I began the master's program, basically all my friends were from the master's program. There's
Mhm.
like 60 of us, and like basically 20 of them in your class become your friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then like if you the intensity and the amount of classes you have, it didn't really allow me to like not allow me, but it didn't really give me a lot of time to go out and explore different societies and clubs and whatnot, because it was just always so busy and packed that I felt like yeah, my basically my whole life just conformed into one, like work and social life was just one. So every time after
Mhm.
class would be like, oh, let's go grab a coffee, or yeah, let's go hang at one other person's house. This
Okay.
is pre-COVID, by the way, guys. This is
Yeah,
pre-COVID.
yeah, to clear that one up. They're not hanging at
Yeah.
houses now.
Yeah, and then like yeah, I think it so I think for my case it might be a bit special, a bit different, unrelatable to others, but maybe if COVID continue touch wood doesn't, but
Yeah.
like if other people could relate that are doing the course now, it we had to stick to our social bubbles.
Hmm.
Sorry, our class bubbles. So we had like groups of three, and work at a plinth, and you only work in that group.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was a bit hard because it's socially distanced, and you're only allowed a few social bubbles according to restrictions, the government restrictions at that time. So I only had like, but I'm not that. I mean, I'm not too fussed about going to many people's homes, but
Yeah.
it it started to feel like I was only a student. Yeah, because I didn't get to go back home. So
Mhm.
I didn't get to like because when I go back home, I'm reminded that like, oh, I'm also like a daughter, I'm
Yeah.
also like a sister, and then I'm also a cousin. Yeah, and I can do so many other things as well. Like I also teach like dance at home as well, like for
Mhm.
not professional dance, like
I
just
think you're doing it all. Okay.
like just church dance and all that. Yeah, like
Mhm.
different stuff. Like I have like you get recreational time, but with physiotherapy, a life outside of like university, not really for the past 2 years. So that's what I mean by my whole like academic and social life just merged into one,
Yeah.
which is it sounds very miserable, but I think it's just because the first year of masters is just so intense. It's incredibly
Mm.
intense that it just feels like it's merging into one. But when I started doing the doctorate, um, I felt like because it was a smaller group, you could feel a bit less um, like surprisingly you'd think that the doctorate was more intense. It's
Yeah.
intense in a different way, but
Okay.
I feel a bit more relaxed because I can take my own time and set my own pace. But
Mm.
that's a dangerous thing because you need to like yeah be
Yeah.
really accountable. But now I feel I can have a bit more of a life outside university. There's
That's
nothing
good.
wrong with having a life within university though. Some people like it,
Hmm.
some people
Yeah.
don't. Me personally, because I realized that when I get my summer holidays or my Christmas holidays, I get to go home and leave my family.
Hmm.
So yeah, but throughout the program, I feel my doctorate friends, so my course mates, sorry, my course mates in the doctorate
Hmm.
program, I see them, they definitely have a life outside of uni. So like some of them are like doing personal training at spinning studio, and then another one's doing like her own Pilates class online, and then like these people, they just
Impressive people.
yeah, they just own their lives, and I'm here just like I get to read a book, I get to cook.
Oh no.
So I think so for the master's section, I didn't really have like my whole academic and social life integrated. But then when I got to the doctorate part, I started having more separation. Like I could take time to actually like have me time, do my own things,
Mhm.
and like that's not necessarily related to doctorate. But I think that's necessary. That's why we have a bit of that time because we need some time to be creative, and that's what
Yeah.
the doctorate wants us to do as well. Because they try to enforce not enforce. It sounds so it
They
sounds
encourage.
so
They try to encourage.
encourage. Thank you. Yeah, we're more encouraged to have creativity because that's what
Hmm.
they want us to have in like implement in our projects. So we get a bit of downtime and then like we start again. So but that's a dangerous thing. You need to be very self accountable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a very long-winded answer.
No, I get what you mean. No, that's fine. Also, because it's like you definitely gotta have. I think for me personally, I can't have my social life merge with my academic life. It's just not a bit me. Like
Yeah.
I'd like to have. I mean, you know me. I like to have like different friendship groups as well. I see people
Yeah.
inside of uni, outside of uni, have a nice mix of things. Like
Yeah.
obviously with healthcare, the friends you make in uni tend to be obviously the people you see on a regular basis because of how intense the course is typically, and you're always in. So the little free
Yeah.
time you do have, you want to spend it with people, you know, that either you haven't seen in a long time or they're your friends from home, like you were saying. So like me, the way I somehow fit it all in is so like on the weekends when I come home to go to work, I'll see like my friend before work or I'll see them after work if possible. And I'll try and get my work done at a different time, and I make sure like I do bench ball on a Thursday, and that's my one time where I'm like, nothing is avoiding me from going to bench ball. It keeps me sane, and plus you get your little bit of anger out for the week, if
Yeah.
anything. Like, you know, I feel like if I didn't have that, it would be I'd overwork myself because
Yeah,
I know what
definitely.
I have a tendency of doing that. So it's just like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in my undergrad, I was able to like still go to clubs and societies, like do Muay Thai, go join Malaysian society events. But then like when I entered like the master's program, even pre-COVID, I just had no time to even consider like clubs
fair
and
enough.
societies. Yeah, it was just like everything was just study, downtime with like my friends who are my course mates who end up
Yeah,
talking about like we end up talking about what we spoke about in class, which
yeah,
I mean, it can be great. It can be great. Really, like, if something funny happened in class, it helps you stick whatever you need to remember
yeah.
in your
Remember it. Yeah,
yeah. But sometimes you just want some separation, and like
yeah.
that's totally fine as well. Yeah, I didn't have anything else really that motivated me
Oh,
outside of class,
fair
so
enough.
there's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think yeah. For for my case, I feel like quite a few people in my course, I find the people who manage to balance things outside of uni are the people who have like partners. So like they can't just stick to the uni thing, you know. Oh, their boyfriend, their girlfriend's gonna be like, excuse me, hello. I'm over like,
Exist.
like still here. Like, so I
Yeah.
think so you kind of have to find that balance. But
Mhm.
the last thing I wanted to ask you, what was like two bits of advice that you would give someone who wants to do physio? Or like yourself, I'd say like if you went back, what advice would you be like? Would you be like run? Or would you be like, hey, come, it's kind of nice?
mm, okay, so I gave three instead.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh no, okay, all right. So first one I think would be stamina and momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that consistency, I think
Mhm,
like it really like this course, like physiotherapy itself requires a lot of consistent work, and but then it can be prone to a burnout. So
mhm.
you have to be really smart and with how you work as well, but keep up that stamina and momentum. And coming to that burnout, the second piece of advice would be take some healthy breaks in between. I need to emphasize that because yeah, because I think when people think breaks, they like
Yeah.
yeah, because for one, we're all now quite digital, and I think this is going to be what it is for a while. So I think that's one thing is really cut out the screen time. Try to look elsewhere, and I think this would be good advice because when I started doing the whole digital online learning, my eyes were like getting foggy, and I was like, I'm getting a bit dizzy. So
Yeah.
really, yeah, because I was also looking at my phone. So
Mhm.
yeah, really just stop, read a book, a physical book or a Kindle. I don't know whether Kindle actually never had a Kindle, but a
Yeah,
book, a
those are
physical
ebooks, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, something that doesn't require any screens, cook or
Hmm.
something.
Or take a
Yeah.
walk, because I find like
Yeah. Oh
taking
yeah.
yeah, like walking back and forth from campus, even though I could take the bus,
Yeah.
it's a nice like relaxing time. Like I walk to work from home when realistically
Yeah.
if I jumped on the bus it'd be 25 minutes. Whereas like people are like, why would you walk? And I'm like, because that's my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's my time. Even though I may be on my phone, I'm listening to music. That's still your
Yeah. Listen to
time.
music as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I realized you can get ear fatigue like from putting your earphones in too much during class. So I suggest just do not put earphones in, and then like yeah, like not earphones in during class, but like maybe earphones um on when you're playing music, or do the opposite. Put earphones
Mm,
in during class and then play music out loud.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just limit that sedentary behavior because yeah, if especially if you're sitting down much more now, man,
Yeah, you
I
want to get up and moving.
Yeah, get up and move. And yeah, the third one would be proactive and have an open mind, particularly when you're on placement. Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard.
because yeah, because I think that's what one of the biggest lessons I've learned on placement was that you really have so much more autonomy, that you are allowed to have more chances to be proactive. And yeah, it really just trains you to have an open mind and really enhances your creativity. Yeah, because I didn't realize you could do so many different things with like just like anything really that you work with in the hospital.
Yeah.
And yeah, I so far I've had hospitals to work in, but I haven't had like a small clinic yet, so I'm not
Hmm.
sure. But yeah, that really, to when you're on placement, be proactive and
Yeah.
have an open mind. Yeah, and remember that we're more than just one job description. Right?
Yeah.
It's not.
We're part of
Yeah.
an MDT team, so
Yes,
always
exactly.
got to remember that. Help your teammates out, whether it's not part of your description. They're helping
Yeah,
you. You got to help them. You
exactly.
know.
Although sometimes they need to know, you do need to know your limits, because like
Yeah.
yeah. But I doubt that they'll ask you to do something related to pain management, like apart from ice and heat. I don't
Hmm.
think they're gonna ask you to administer like, oh,
Basically,
give
do
me.
what you can to help, as long as you're qualified to do so,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're not
Exactly.
pushing boundaries, and you're not gonna get yourself sued. So
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think that we're having like, oh, another one would be actually really identifying your learning and learning style. Yeah.
definitely, yeah. My
Yeah.
uni's getting like at the start. That was one of the first things they made us do is fill out like I think it's like the Honey and Mumford learning style thing. So then like I found out that I'm more a theorist. So in terms of like I like to plan things, which you know me, I love to plan. So
Yeah.
cool. I plan, I structure everything. It's like, oh, I prefer to work independently, which is true to an aspect. But then like there's certain I agree with basically all the advantages and like the pros about being a theorist, but then the negative aspects of the theorist is kind of like, yeah, you don't want to work with anyone. But hey, sometimes I like company, okay? Sometimes I don't like people. Yeah. Or it's like,
Yeah.
this or that. But like, yeah, definitely it's kind of just like you want to know the full story. That's just me. I want to know all the factors before I dive into something. And then yeah, so it
Mm.
was pretty interesting being like, oh wow, a couple questions I answered pointed this out. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that my learning style is very I don't have a specific name for it. This is just like I haven't mine's not really, I think mine is just undiscovered. So
Yeah.
like discovered by the generic learning style. So I know that one's definitely I'm a kinesthetic learner. I need to actually do it. So I think that's why I found it very difficult during the pandemic. I learned up to the shoulder, and then like I didn't learn the elbow and the
Hmm.
wrist, but like physically. So it was a bit difficult, but we managed to do like those master classes where they condense into one and then
Yeah.
you learn it. But and then I think I'm also that learner who learns better when I teach, because you know something really well and you can teach it. That's when you know you really know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's like, yeah, that's my best way of learning. Sometimes it's not really the best during the pandemic where everyone has been locked down, but yeah,
Mm.
it really is it's really useful if you identify your learning style as early as possible, or adapt it, like really know how to adapt it, because you don't know when there might be another pandemic, or you don't know when there might be a different practice educator. You don't know whether there's going to be a different style of what do you call it, style of teaching at a certain clinic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I mean,
really.
ultimately, it's just something that there's just skills that you have to take with you into any career, whether it's physio or anything. To be honest, like being able to adapt to
Yeah,
your settings and being able to adapt to change because like not every day is going to be the same.
yeah. So, oh yeah, so I changed my words from like the top three words, that the three words I use to describe physiotherapy. Screw meticulous. It's more of adaptability. Yeah, it's adaptability, versatile, and challenging. Yeah,
Well,
just challenging in all areas. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on what I would advise myself if back then, and
yeah.
hopefully someone else is going to do physiotherapy. It's a great course. Just
Come along.
come along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come along.